Hey guys, and welcome to the Surge Growth Partner Podcast, a podcast where we interview top-level executives inside leading and growing companies inside the IT and cybersecurity space. Excited to have our guest today, Kelly Stone. We'll be diving into her story, what her company specializes in, the channel program, and some engaging insights into the IT industry. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to you, Kelly. If you could just please introduce yourself and tell a quick snippet of your story and your background prior to working at Channel Program.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm
Of
Kelly
course.
Stone. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Channel Program. I'm relatively new in my role, but not new in the industry. I've worked in the IT channel for about a decade now. I started my career in IT working as a social media marketer and evolved and added on different responsibilities since then. So I've overseen things like brand, philanthropic giving, membership, events here, there, and everywhere for organizations primarily in the nonprofit and membership space.
That's neat. Yeah, I'm curious. I always like to ask the guests, kind of what was it that sparked your initial interest about IT, or how did you really get inside the industry? Was it just by chance, or was there some type of underlying passion that you had beforehand?
That's a great question. A lot of my previous roles had to do with membership organizations, and a lot of them were STEM related. So I did work with the Society of Women Engineers, for example, some time ago. I worked for a nonprofit trade organization in the IT space. And that's where I started to get really hands on with what tech careers look like and what the IT channel looks like. The fact of the matter is, tech is not going away, it's only getting larger over time. So the opportunity for anybody in this space continues to grow.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I always like to say that the IT space kind of found me. I didn't find it, right? And once I stumbled across it, I was like, I definitely want to stay and make a career out of this. So I'm curious as to obviously being inside the industry for a little bit and working with some different companies. What do you think are some of the biggest trends that maybe you're seeing right now in terms of the industry? Where do you think we're maybe going?
I don't feel like you can have a podcast in 2023 without talking about some aspect of AI and what that looks like in the
Yeah,
workforce. So there's the aspect of getting the work done, of course, how you can use various different AI tools to annotate your podcast, to write a blog post about it, to create video clips from it. So that's one AI for good. There's also the AI for evil that I think we all need to be wise to and think about. With cyber attacks, you build a better mousetrap, the mouse gets smarter, and AI is the perfect example of that. It is going to get increasingly more difficult to secure your various endpoints as more sophisticated attacks happen. We already saw it in the spring with the casino attack in Vegas that was, a spoofed voice. It will only get more sophisticated as time goes on. So figuring out how to harness AI for good, but also how to protect yourself from those who may not be using it so positively is something that will continue to take us through many years to come, I'm sure.
that's a great point. And I think that's something that I've touched on a couple of times with other guests, just because we don't know what the future of AI entails in terms of the next couple of years. I mean, we've already progressed so much since the introduction of, even, for example, ChatGPT, and what these sophisticated actors are now doing with just sending out these emails at length, and they're targeting small businesses or you know things that weren't really happening before. And so it's definitely a big shift that we're seeing inside the cybersecurity realm, that a lot of people are bringing that to their attention. So that's a great point. I did kind of want to segue now into what you guys are doing over there at Channel Program. I think it is something definitely very unique, and I wanted you to tell a little bit about the audience about kind of what you guys, your primary service offering is over at Channel Program.
So I certainly think so. Channel Program bills itself as the homepage destination for every MSP. So what we do is provide tools and a community for managed service providers in order to help them pick the right partners. So we have the fastest growing MSP community on the planet. There's 8,000 MSPs that are part of Channel Program right now. They don't pay to enter, and we offer a variety of free tools for them to review their vendors, look at other reviews, and also see how those vendors are charting on a stack chart that's updated every day. The whole idea behind this is a lot of the contracts in the MSP channel world are 3 years long. So you're going to want to make sure before you sign on the dotted line for 3 years that you're picking a partner that you can grow with and that services the things that you want to grow with as well. So all of these things are things that MSPs can sign up for and just look at. We recently added something called Navistack, which is a free tool for MSPs to visualize their entire vendor ecosystem. If you work with MSPs, you know they work with dozens, sometimes 100 different vendors who do things like on-prem, cloud, password management, all the different aspects of IT. Your average MSP is managing that through an Excel spreadsheet. So we have a free tool where they can add all of those into a single place, see it all in one screen, share it with their team, and then communicate with all of those vendors in one spot. We think it's really cool. And anytime I tell MSPs about this at trade shows, they say, why isn't everyone doing this? Are you an angel sent from above? That one might be a pickup line. I'm still not sure about that one, but I'll take it as a compliment.
I like that. That's that's a great, little unique service offering that you guys have. And I've, been interviewing some different guests and definitely haven't come across something like this yet. So especially if the community is free, I don't know why people wouldn't just join to at least just check it out. So that's awesome. I know you did touch on some points where where you think people maybe get the most value from the channel program. Was there anything else that you could potentially add that you think, if you are an MSP, that this is where you kind of get the most value from, being inside the channel program?
I mean, if you want to talk value in dollars and cents, we pay MSPs $15 to review their vendors. So you go in there, you tell us your honest opinion, you go through a guided review, and you give some really genuine feedback about features that you wish that you had, how easy the integration was, what the ongoing support looks like. That helps your fellow MSPs decide if this is a tool that they want. And it also, starts building your Navistack. So you write that review. Clearly, you're one of those vendor customers. That creates your Navistack. So it's all very intuitive. And what we do with that information, data privacy is very important to us. Our founders are the former founders of ID Agent, which was a black web monitoring tool that was purchased and they exited. And we anonymize that data and do things like map the entire IT channel. So a couple of weeks ago, we released the 2023 channel technology map. We took every logo that's in our system that an MSP has reviewed, and we categorize them based upon their services. There's over 600 companies represented, 700 logos, and if you tried to print it full size, it would cover 96 square feet. So that's a free download that you can get on our website right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. A lot of unique little things. I love that. I am curious as to, I kind of like to understand, some of the challenges that maybe you think MSPs are really facing before, working with you guys. I know you touched on those a little bit, but if you can maybe expand on that as well, like what challenges are you really seeing the MSPs are facing before they're working with you? And then how is your product really helping them solve those?
MSPs are busy, and most MSPs got into this because they love the technology. They love setting it up. They love maintaining it. They like working with their customers. I think anybody who is an entrepreneur quickly learns that doing the business is only one part of it. It's also marketing and running the business. So we're trying to take some of those pain points away of running the business. The vendor management is one aspect of it. You hire technicians to help make it a little bit easier to scale your business, but then you're the guy who has to be the go-between for your vendors and your technicians. Navistack solves for that. You can share your built Navistack with anyone in your organization. So as people come on board, all of it is available for them. It's plug and play, and they can chat directly with your vendors in that portal. So it makes it a lot easier to scale and a lot easier for you to not have to have 50 open tabs with different vendor portals that you're logged into.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, that's awesome. And I definitely think that if, anyone is listening and is an MSP, they should definitely check you guys out, join the community. And now I did, want to obviously take a segue into asking a little bit more about, your career and exactly some of, the challenges that maybe you face with being the chief marketing officer. I know it's a new role for you. But I am curious, and I'm sure the audience maybe is curious. What are some of the challenges that kind of come with, being the chief marketing officer at Channel Program?
Marketing is an interesting world. I think it's very similar to IT in that you will always be humble because there will always be something else to learn. You can't possibly be the master of every category that exists in marketing, just like you can't for technology. So I feel like I'm always adding to my portfolio of things to learn, things that I think I've mastered and need to go back to. So it's always evolving as well. When I started my career, social media was kind of an emerging thing that maybe interns did. And it evolved into this very different, sophisticated world. And I think that that's just one chapter of what marketing looks like is they have this new exciting technology. It's really cool that people are wasting a lot of time on. You monetize it, and then how do you use it as a business? We're seeing that with various sites that come on board. I'm sure that we will see that with, what gets added to platforms like LinkedIn, and just trying to stay on top of all of those trends is a lot of work to think about.
Definitely. I mean, I'm in the marketing space as well, so I can tell you that everything you said kind of resonates with me as well, just because, it is such an evolving market, right? And what works 6 months ago doesn't work today, and so it's consistently evolving, and you have to be on the front edge of marketing, and especially technology used in marketing too. And so that's a great point. I'm curious, do you have anything like advice to other marketing professionals of things that maybe you found to maybe work, that you'd like to share?
I think there are two things that have not led me astray yet. It's leaning into curiosity. If there's something that I find cool, chances are I could use it in an interesting way. And then this one is funny. I have a master's degree. I probably have learned more on YouTube in the last 5 years than I did in that program. So, anytime there's something new, anytime I come across a problem that I don't know how to solve, chances are someone else out there has that problem. And between YouTube and Reddit, I can find some take on how I might be able to tackle that. So, there are a lot of free resources out there. And I would also say there's a lot of people who want to help as well. I've reached out to people cold on LinkedIn before and said, I saw your video on YouTube, or I saw you write this thing. I have a question. Would you answer it? And most people are flattered that you even found them. So I guess that was an interesting revelation for me to find out that even if you're a published author, if you reach out to that author on LinkedIn, chances are they still want to talk to you. It doesn't matter how famous you are.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's actually great advice and something that I've used as well. Sometimes just offering a compliment and then, asking about, one little thing that they had mentioned or talked about is a great way to kind of just get some advice from really high level marketers, right? And yeah.
And I would say it's an easy way to find a mentor too. If you
Mhm.
ask enough questions, all of a sudden you're in a mentorship relationship with somebody that you met on LinkedIn and had some questions about. So it's a great way to use the technology for good.
I would agree. I would agree. And I think mentors are obviously the best way to kind of expedite your growth. I've talked about this before in some of my previous episodes that I'm a big fan of an advocate for mentors because they can teach you so much and you can help you kind of avoid the mistakes that you have to go through in order to learn things. Well, I did have a question in terms of, where you maybe see the channel program going within the next 12 months. I don't like to ask anything beyond that because it's kind of hard to visualize things. But in the next 12 months, what's your goal, or where are you guys kind of pushing towards as a company?
So, Channel Program is 2 years old now. We've grown quite a bit. We've evolved as an organization in terms of our offering and some of our emphasis areas. And I see Navistack continuing to grow and evolve. There's a lot of cool features that we would love to add to Navistack. So, right now, when you log in, you'll see that occasionally there are some gray boxes in your Navistack. Those are gaps in your stack. So we can help you identify potential offerings that are very popular in the MSP world. We eventually would like to allow MSPs to anonymously compare their Navistack to similar MSPs in terms of size, location, revenue, et cetera. So you can see what's out there that I should be considering. We also want to get into this idea of entering your contract end dates so that you can manage what's coming up and, use our tools to shop for vendors if you're dissatisfied with your existing contract. So there's quite a lot around Navistack that I'd love to see. One of the updates that we just made, we're on version 3.0, is there's an events widget on our site now. So based on the vendors that are in your Navistack, the events that are next to your Navistack are populated by those. So you'll never miss a product update, a demo day, a user endpoint conference, whatever's out there for your vendors. We're making sure that you are taking advantage of it.
Yeah, that sounds like you guys got a packed schedule.
We do. We do system updates at least every 2 weeks, sometimes more aggressively. So we're really focused on providing value to both the MSP who joins us for free, as well as the vendors who pay for the privilege of getting in front of those decision-making MSPs.
Well, that's awesome, and I'm so happy you got the chance to kind of share what you guys are doing at Channel Program, because I have a feeling that in the next couple of years, or even the next year, it'll be something that is most widely used amongst the MSPs. So it's cool to kind of get people in the beginning of things, especially given the growth that you guys had in the past 2 years. I think that's a testament to what you guys are doing over there as well. I do have just one more question that I do like to ask every single guest that kind of comes on is, obviously, what would you say? This is a loaded question, right? It is in terms of what is the most important things that you've learned in your career, and what would you be willing to kind of share with the audience around that?
I think about this a lot, actually, because I get asked it a lot. And I think there are a couple of things. Ask questions, even if you feel like the answer is obvious or you're going to feel silly asking it. Ask the question, because then you'll know for certain. And I think also figuring out how to gracefully promote yourself in terms of talking about the things that you're doing, making sure that you're consistent with your voice, your presence. I think all of those things help build a career, and also being very deliberate about networking consistently. You're going to change jobs. You may even change industries. You could move. You get to take that network with you. They may take back your laptop or whatever. Your network is yours. So invest in it now.
Yeah, definitely. That was some great advice. One of my mentors told me, you only have one name, right? Like you can't ruin it. If you have one name, and especially what you do and the things that you put out there, and like you said, even changing industry, as long as you can keep your network, that's a phenomenal point. Well, thank you so much, Kelly, for coming on. You did an awesome job, and I'm going to put your website and also LinkedIn inside the company, inside the link, inside the video description. But is there any other, platform that maybe someone can reach out to you if they did want to connect with you and join the channel program?
Absolutely. So registering on channelprogram.com as an MSP is free and takes about a minute. If you're an IT vendor who sells to MSPs, we actually offer a free vendor profile on our website as well. So you can find both of those things at channelprogram.com. There are also individual instances of all of our staff on Channel Program, so you can connect with me through there. I'm also the Kelly Eastone on LinkedIn and Twitter/X, and I'd love to see you there.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Kelly. And guys, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment for more content. And I hope you guys have a great day. Ciao.